think a dog thinks about when it's barking? You think it's just announcing itself? Like it's basically just saying I, like capital letter I, like me, I'm here. You think the dog is calling out into the void, trying to elicit some response? You ever think maybe we're like barking dogs?
I know we all said to each other that I really didn't understand the point of The Shining, but I do have to tell you that I think he went crazy over the fact that he was alone with an annoyingly unattractive fucking wife and a kid that probably wasn't even his, and he just couldn't fucking take it anymore. And the fact that he didn't have alcohol, even though he's a recovering alcoholic, he needed it.
Just pushed him over the edge, yeah.
It just pushed him over the fucking edge. I mean, so now I get it. It's almost like the show Dexter. Everyone's like, that's a terrible ending. But him becoming a lumberjack really is the most realistic ending as possible because it just made sense. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on yet another beautiful Sunday. How you doing, Tommy boy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, buddy. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. This is a very exciting episode because we are canceling Time Out.
That's it. It's done.
Time Out is canceled. Surprise. If you haven't noticed, we did a slight change to our title. So you probably would have seen that not only on our logo for the icon, but also on your Spotify and your Apple Podcast. So you may ask yourself, why did you guys change your name? Well, this is our show for one, if that's not obvious enough. It's the Chris and Tom Show.
That distinction was very important to make.
It was. It's not the Tom Show. It's not the Chris Show. It's not the Dope Show. It's not the Scott Show. It's the Chris and Tom Show. Why'd we get rid of Time Out, you're saying? Why do a name change so early? Searching us through Time Out was extremely difficult. We were nowhere to be found. And it turns out almost every single Time Out is a sports show. And this is not a sports show. And I don't want it to be confused with any other sports shows. Granted, Tom knows so much about sports. You just love sports, don't you?
Dude, I'm a sports junkie, man. Baseball, professional frisbee, man. I'm all over it.
Yeah, you know, when all the dogs run across, I have one of those things at my own house, just a bunch of dogs running in circles all day long.
You're the Westminster Dog Show right there in Pennsylvania.
We decided to change our name because even though we created Time Out 16 years ago, it was our first show. They all decided to copy us and steal the show, even though we were not live yet.
Those sons of bitches.
And that's what happens when you don't copyright or trademark whatever the hell it is that we needed 16 years ago, because we would have been the one and only Time Out, but we're not.
No, but that's all right. Because you know what? I think time out as a phrase is a little too, like you said, it's a little too sports adjacent. I think to really convey, you know, the varied facets of knowledge that you gather from our show.
Right.
All right. It's freaky. I like it.
Yeah.
Stand close to me. Whoop, there it is.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
So you ready for this?
There we go. Yes. Let's go.
So, husband, he's an E3 Doge investor. Wife, OnlyFans. Budget for house, $3.25 million.
Yep. That's the truth.
God. Game over. Flat foot in the face. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Hello again, everyone. Happy Sunday. How you doing, Tommy boy?
Doing pretty good, buddy. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. This is a pretty exciting episode that we have.
This is a big one.
This is a big one. So we are canceling Time Out, and we are now officially the Chris and Tom Show.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we're canceling Time Out, and then
okay, take like 20.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well today. How you doing, Tommy boy?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. We have some very exciting news to share with you all today. The show Time Out is canceled.
That's it. We're done.
It's over.
We had
The
enough.
show is done. The exciting news is we have now become the Chris and Tom Show.
That's it. Changing gears. We rebranded.
We rebranded, we revamped, and we're already out of retirement.
We're back off the ropes, everyone.
We were out of retirement quicker than Brett Favre. It's a terrible name, which I think we covered that before, but that was actually part of one of the episodes we edited out.
Yes.
So the question is, Tom, how do you spell Favre?
Listen, all right. I hate Brett Favre's name because it flies in the face of like the order of letters. Like Brett Favre spelling his name Favre and pronouncing it Favre. Like, no, it's Favre, buddy. And like, I don't like it any more than you do, but that is how you spell your name. That is how you say your name. That'd be like me, my last name, Blass. That'd be like saying my name is Tom Balls, right? And it's not. It's Blass because it's Blass. So you can't just thwart the convention involved in letters and just say your name however you want. Like, you could say your name was like Demonia. What's to stop you? Where does it end?
Hey, Tommy Balls.
Yeah, hey, Tommy Balls. You know,
It's
if I
like
got paid that much to play football, I guess I'd say my name however I wanted to.
Balls runs for the ball. Balls touchdown.
There you go. See? Obviously, I should have been a football player this whole time.
You should have. You should have. Absolutely. It's like my last name. Everyone automatically assumes it's Amodio based off how it's spelled, but it's Amadeo. It sounds like it's spelled Amadeo, but it's Amodeo. It's Amadeo.
It's true. Yeah, I guess if you like the hard A at the beginning, like maybe normally there would be like two M's after it. Amodeo. That'd be cool. Then you'd be like, then you could be like an action star, like Sylvester Stallone and Chris Amodeo in Ricochet Warrior.
Yeah, right. I'm like I don't even know if I'd be able to do my own stunts. It's just like, I need to jump off the helicopter to what? What are you talking about? I can't do that.
Well, I doubt Stallone does his own stunts anymore.
I don't know. I feel like he does still. I think he did all of his stunts in all those Expendable movies. I think all of them did their own stunts in that movie. And I'm surprised Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't break a hip.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I don't know that he's doing a whole lot of stunts these days. I think his last stunt was as the governor of California.
Yeah, right.
You know somebody who does all his own stunts who you wouldn't expect, but like he's like a hardcore stunt junkie is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise does. If you Google pictures of Tom Cruise, like there's pictures of him sitting on top of like crazy buildings and stuff he had to scale in like the Mission Impossible movies and things like that. Dude really does it.
Is that why he gets paid the amount of money he does to do his movies? Like it's actor, stuntman, all of it, so that he gets the complete package of money? Or do you think he gets paid on top of doing his own stunts plus being Tom Cruise in the movie?
That's a fair question. I wonder. It's got to be factored into a budget somehow, right? Like somewhere there's a bean counter in Hollywood who's like, ooh, Tom Cruise is good if you want. Like you pay top dollar, but you get a lot out of him.
I know a lot of people don't like Tom Cruise, but I really can't think of a movie that I watched with him where I'm like, I didn't like that movie. I think every single movie Tom Cruise is in. Like they're just good movies. You can't fault the guy for being a good actor. He's That's just true. Entertaining. I like his stuff.
I do. I've liked even the weird movies he's in, like Vanilla Sky and Eyes Wide Shut. You know, I mean, like I love Kubrick, so I'll never say Kubrick made a bad movie. But
Vanilla Sky I liked. Eyes Wide Shut I only watched on mute when I was younger just to see all the naked people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let me tell you
that movie, like if I watched it now, I'm pretty sure I'd be like, the fuck is going on?
It's very strange. It's very David Lynch style where it's like, you know, things are happening and you're looking at the screen and like there's like a disconnect between like what your eyes are seeing and what your brain is trying to interpret. And it's like, I can't make these two things match.
You know, there's another movie he did that I really want to see that's, I think, even longer than Eyes Wide Shut is Magnolia. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Yeah. I mean, now that you say that, I definitely have heard of that movie, but I've never watched it.
And apparently whoever directs that movie, they are saying that that's one of like his best movies. Like that movie Magnolia supposedly is really good. The only reason why I really never watched it is because it's over 3 hours. Like a 3 hour movie that's like deep is tough to watch.
Yeah.
It's like I'm good for a deep movie, like 2 hours, 15 minutes, maybe rounding 230, but I can't do a 3 hour deep movie. It's like Titanic. I saw Titanic when it came back in the movie theater the second time, and I know it's like, ooh, it's Titanic, but I'm like, this is too deep, literally. Like, like this is just too long. It's too deep. I'm ready to be out of here. It's that Paul Anderson guy, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, he's a big intellectual director.
I mean, he did Boogie Nights. Obviously, I love that movie.
Oh, maybe he's not that intellectual then. Boogie Nights, though, was a great movie. That was a fairly long one, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little over 2 hours, but it was under that 2.5 hour threshold. Like that, I like a good 2 hour movie, a good 2 hour and 15-minute movie, just because that amount of time covers it. But if once you go over like 2 hours, 25 minutes, it's like, okay, what else are you covering in that time past that 2 hour, 25-minute mark? It's like a Tarantino movie. Tarantino, his movies can be 4 or 5 hours long, and I don't care. Like I'm in.
Yeah, because you know what? He's got enough going on. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a pacing to his movies that allows it to reach that kind of length, and it feels organic. Like you feel like you're there with it. You don't feel like anything's kind of mired in introspection too much, where it sort of loses its momentum.
He definitely does. It's about conversation. He has conversations that I really do think what he does is he gets into the mind of a character and he records conversations that he has with himself. And then he's one of those people where he sits in one chair and then he moves to another chair and then moves to another chair. And like he's talking, he's actually having conversations that he wants the characters to have, but he doesn't just write it down, sits on a laptop and types it out. I really think what he does, no one's around. I mean, I would like, if I could be a fly on a wall, I would love to see him write a movie minus the Uma Thurman foot scenes, because who the hell knows what goes on during that time. But in the Inglourious Bastard scene, when they're downstairs in the bar and you have like those 6 people having a conversation at the table while they're drinking the beer, that is one of the most intense scenes in movie history. There's no way you just sit behind a laptop and write it out, even on a pencil and paper. You don't just write it. He had to have had a recorder and literally put himself in a chair, all 6 chairs moving around, having verbal conversations with himself. And then I think what he did after was write it. And he listened to himself have those conversations. It's a genuine, real conversation. You can't write genuine, real conversation. You have to act it out. I think he directed himself.
Yeah, I mean, he does. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody who does dialogue as well as he does. So then let me ask you this, though. Do you think then that in like the opening scene in Reservoir Dogs, when they're all at the diner, do you think he went to a diner and like just hopped around the booth, like having the conversation with his son? I got Madonna's big dick in my left ear. Like,
I
waitress in like the coffee pot, she like comes over, she's like, I don't think this gentleman wants any more coffee.
I think Reservoir Dogs was more improv. I think what he did was, we're going to talk about a tip for 3-4 minutes. It wasn't improv.
It wasn't. Harvey Keitel was the one who said, like, when you're dealing with Tarantino, like everything is very, very meticulously scripted, and there is very little room for improv. Now, from what I understand, I think maybe that he loosened up a little bit on that, because when it came to like Django, for example, there were a few scenes with Leonardo DiCaprio, like the scene where he smashes the glass and the blood comes out of his hand and he rubs the blood on Kerry Washington's face. Like that apparently was unscripted, and he thought that was good enough to go with. But like, I guess otherwise he is very, very meticulous about like the dialogue and like the actions of the characters and things like that.
Then yeah, I absolutely think he got on. I mean, because that was also like his first. He had another movie called, I think, 4 Doors, or there was another movie that he wrote, but Reservoir Dogs was the one that he. Interesting fact. So he wrote True Romance and sold True Romance script to pay for Reservoir Dogs.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. I love True Romance. So that's why True Romance is such an awesome movie. Tarantino wrote it.
Yeah, Tarantino wrote all the dialogue and everything else. I mean, like there's some great dialogue in that movie.
I mean, I think he also wrote Natural Born Killers, but what happened was Oliver stoned it, and he wanted his name removed off of it.
Yeah,
There
well,
was something weird about that. I think it was the
yeah,
end. I don't know what it was specifically, but I do know he wrote Natural Born Killers, and Oliver Stone did his normal bullshit of screwing up movies. And whatever he did to Natural Born Killers, Tarantino wanted like his name kind of off of the movie.
it's a bold move to do that, but at the same time, I don't know. Oliver Stone strikes me as a pretty bold guy. I mean, maybe that's actually the artistic direction he wanted to go in, which
Maybe.
you could debate the merits of that, I'm sure. But ultimately, yeah, I don't think Oliver Stone is bad at what he does.
It's an entertaining movie. It's just an ending that'll annoy you. It won't annoy you as much as The Kingdom, which I think is one of the worst endings of a movie ever made. Dude, remember we left that movie theater like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I was so mad. I hate the movie that, like, you know, it hypes you up the whole time. It gets you going. It was like that one with Kevin Bacon too, where he's the gang member. Well, he's not a gang member. He takes on the gang.
Death Sentence.
Death Sentence. Yes, that's one of those movies. It's like it hypes you up. It shows you what happens, and then like it shows you everything from Kevin Bacon's point of view. Right, The Kingdom showed you everything from like Jamie Foxx and team's point of view. Right, him and was it Jennifer Garner who was in it, and like all of them. It shows you everything from their point of view, and like they are the protagonist, and you're with them, and like the whole movie is about them, you know, trying to do what they do and kind of exact their revenge, you know, on their fallen teammate. And then at the very end, the movie just like hands itself back to you and is like, well, here you go. You thought you were rooting for the good guys. Well, they're actually the bad guys. Like, and now what does that mean for you? And it's like, do you realize, like, I hate myself enough. I don't want to watch a movie that, like, now at the end, you're telling me I'm the bad guy for having watched it. Because you want to know something? You're the one who made the money off that movie, you piece of shit. Whoever you are who wrote it, directed it, and everything, and the whole team involved, you're the ones who made the money off this. And then you made this whole movie, and now you're basically going to shame me at the end of it all and say, well, you're a bad person for having engaged with my piece of media. Like, no, like, go to hell.
Yeah, no, dude, it's like that movie with Death Sentence that you just mentioned. There's the female version of it with Jodie Foster called The Brave One. And that had the ending that a death sentence should have had. Jodie Foster was getting revenge on the people that took advantage of her and killed her fiance, and she killed them all. And it ended with her like, yeah, I killed all of them. And it's like, good.
Yeah.
Death Sentence kind of had this thing where it's just like, you shouldn't get revenge on the person that killed your son. Listen, I don't have children, but I'm pretty sure I speak out there for everyone that does have children. If you found out that somebody did something very bad and the law wasn't going to do anything about it or didn't have the means to do it, and you had a way to do it, you know you're going to take care of it.
You do it.
Let's not joke around here. Like, I'll use my little cousin as an example. If something ever happened to him and the law was not going to take care of it, I mean, listen, I'd probably have to lose 50 pounds and go to the gym for like 3 months. So it's like a nice little, maybe that Sylvester Stallone thing, you know, he trains me, right? And then I would go after those people, probably die in the process. But if I could get away with it, I would take care of business myself, because if the law's not going to do anything about it or give them a plea bargain, because it seems like that's like the thing, pleas nowadays, give them a nice little plea. Yes, I'm going to take matters in my own hands. And I am pretty sure a majority of the fathers and the mothers in the world would do the same for their children. So I think trying to say like, yeah, you shouldn't do that, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, if you have the means of being able to take care of it, people are going to take care of it.
Well, and the other thing that annoyed me about Death Sentence was like, it tried to equate, you know, Kevin Bacon's desire for revenge as, you know, being the same as this scumbag, you know, gang member whose little brother got killed because he killed Kevin Bacon's son, and then Kevin Bacon killed him. And it's like, they are not equals, because this shithead's little brother was the aggressor. Like, he was the one who started this all. And like, okay, they make it pretty obvious that like he wasn't really acting of his own volition. He was just trying to get, you know, sort of the approval of the gang. And that's, you know, that's fine. Okay, you want to make that a separate argument, whatever. But the fact of the matter was, this kid did this, and then Kevin Bacon killed him for it. And like, what did Kevin Bacon's son do to deserve that? Nothing. He was just there at a point in time. And I mean, it'd be one thing if you saw Kevin Bacon's son doing something shitty at like the very beginning of the movie, but you never did. So as far as you know, Kevin Bacon's son was completely blameless in this movie. And this guy comes up and kills him. And then Kevin Bacon kills that guy. And now all of a sudden, that guy's older brother and Kevin Bacon are equals because they're both out for revenge. Like, no, get the hell out of here. It is not the same thing. So I agree. Like the Brave one had a much better take on it, which was
absolutely.
That, like,
yep.
If somebody messes with you, you are now like in the right to like take the power back from them.
Especially if the law is not going to do what they really are meant to do, in my opinion. Listen,
Exactly.
I just support that. And it just is what it is. Like I feel the way that they ended that movie is you just shouldn't do those things. Blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, some things have to get done.
And I mean, even if you don't want to try and extrapolate it and like sort of like look at it as like when you try and project it on like everyday society, like sure, even if you don't want to go that far, at the very least, don't give me a character to root for and then tell me I'm the part of the problem for having rooted for him the entire movie. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that you have some sort of resentment to me as the viewer for having supported your movie in the first place, because you clearly gave me the parameters in which to engage with your movie. And then you tell me I'm the bad guy for having done that. Like fuck you. Like, go to hell. I just won't watch another one of your movies then. Simple as that. Then I'm not the bad guy anymore, am I?
And it makes you think, though, when actors like sign up for some of these movies that have like that real meaning to it, it's like, did you read the script? Did you have to do it? Do you believe in that? Or is it just, I'm an actor, I really don't care what kind of movie I go in. It's just they're paying me, so I'm going to do it. I feel like even it was Jason Bateman, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Gardner, like those three, like, why were you in that movie? Was it a contract obligation? Was it you read the script, you absolutely loved it, and you needed to get a point across? So if that's the case, it's just like, well, you feeling like an asshole, Tom, for watching it because they made you feel terrible. Then the actors themselves read it and was like, oh, yeah, no, they feel this way. I agree. They're all assholes.
Well,
unless you're getting paid.
I can cut the actors some slack because the actors don't, just because they have the lines and everything else, and like there's clearly a vision in mind when they're shooting the movie, they might not get the entire grasp of it, and it goes to the same to the crew and everybody else, like everybody involved in the movie, except for like the director and like the executive producers. Like not everybody might have an entirely clear view of the movie. Like the Shining, for example, the little kid in The Shining thought it was a movie about like the scene where Jack Nicholson was trying to kill him. He thought he was playing like hide and seek or something with Jack Nicholson. That's what
Really?
Yeah. He had no idea like just how violent the movie was or anything like that. He was kind of sheltered from all that because I guess Kubrick oddly had a soft spot for kids, and I think the soft spot for kids that he had was sort of replaced by the very mean spot he had for the likes of Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he told Shelley about, listen, Nicholson's really trying to kill you, so you better fucking run.
Yeah, if he doesn't kill you, I will.
Oh, that poor woman, man. I guess he really put her through some shit.
Yeah, he really put her through the ringer. And that's, I hear he had sort of a problematic just sort of view of actresses in general. I mean, it was a different time in Hollywood, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, you can't, by today's standards, the way I guess he treated a lot of actresses in his movies in general was pretty abysmal.
In the same line of movies, I don't know if you have heard, but Jeff Bezos is getting a $10 billion bailout from his space firm. And literally a day later, he spends almost $9 billion on acquiring MGM. How nuts is that? Amazon is now owner of one of the largest studios that have a catalog of over 4,000 movies. So this changes the whole game again now.
Yeah.
Because there was Amazon Prime, which is, competing with Netflix. Netflix, I don't think, purchased any of these big studios. So now Amazon, $9 billion. That's a lot of fucking money. $9 billion for 4,000 movies. So I did put together a list of some of these movies because with all the new censorship and removal of actors, Amazon now owns some of our favorites. You're going to start seeing some of the following movies. The list is 007, James Bezos, Bezos of the Lambs, Thelma and Louise and Jeff Bezos, 12 Angry Bezoses, Midnight Bezos, Dances with Bezos, Raging Bezos, Legally Bezo, Bezogeist, Bezo Raider, The Pink Bezo, The Bezo Crown Affair, and then unfortunately he got his hands on one of my favorite Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone movies, Bezo Instincts. Now, this film has been edited. The infamous scene when Sharon Stone uncrosses her legs, it will no longer be a private part, but instead it'll be Jeff Bezos' eye. And sorry, I tried to. So they are editing all of their movies to show Amazon in these movies. It's a real shame that they are now owner of the large catalog of movies, because this will change the industry now moving forward. Because if they own 007, for instance, that changes things. Now Amazon is in control of that franchise. What are they going to do now with that franchise?
The question that's going to be on everybody's mind now is like, when do we see the pro Amazon movie? Or like, when do we see, not necessarily like the Jeff Bezos story or something? I think he's probably I don't want to say thematic, but he's not thematic. But I'm sure he's a smart enough guy to not just immediately make a biopic or biopic or whatever of himself. I've never known how to actually pronounce that word. Can I just
biopic?
Is it biopic or is it biopic? Because like it's biography. So like, I don't know, but I digress. So I don't think he's going to immediately just make a movie about himself. Like, the Jeff Bezos story, starring Ryan Gosling.
Are they going to literally show like a loser in high school getting picked on and becoming a billionaire? Like, what are they going to try to do? Is it going to be one of those things? Oh, I feel bad for him. I hope he makes a lot of money one day. We can see a real success story of a loser who's short and has a weird fucking eye become real successful.
He buys DC Comics and just enters himself into the canon of superheroes.
Bezo man, Super Bezo. Like, that's going to be the next fucking thing. It's going to go along with the other list. Like,
God, I hope not. Is he the type of guy who realizes, like, what kind of movies make money and he just does that? He just makes the movies that make money? Or is he the type of guy to flex that hard and be like, you know what? Here's a movie about like a company that started by a guy who isn't very successful, but he's got the drive and the determination to do it, to make it happen. And then like, it gets really big and really successful. And then, then he has one little fling with a weather forecaster. And then his crotchety wife leaves him. Like, when does it happen? When is the pro big business movie going to come out of MGM? And like, because I feel like Jeff Bezos is egotistical enough at the end of the day to do that. But maybe he's not. Maybe at the end of the day, the amount of money he makes off of owning that studio on its own is the flex for him. So it'd be interesting to see.
I guess. I'm sure he'll do something because Steve Jobs got a movie. Steve Jobs got two shitty movies. So maybe his goal will be to have just one shitty movie. That's a little bit better.
What's interesting about that is I was reading Ashton Kutcher played him in one movie, and Ashton Kutcher went on, I guess Steve Jobs had this weird fruit diet where he only ate apples, which is kind of funny. It's almost like he's a cartoon character. Like,
yeah, right.
Hey, my life is just apples. And like apparently that was part of the reason that he got like pancreatic cancer. And so he ate all these apples, refused treatment for a type of pancreatic cancer that apparently is fairly survivable if you just get the treatment right away. But he didn't want to do that because he was too egotistical. So he thought his own diet would help him. And then he eventually went like terminal. And it wasn't until then that he started getting the treatment, but by then it was too late. And so Ashton Kutcher tried to do this apple diet for a little while. And what ended up happening was he got like severe pancreatitis to the point where like he was he did it for like, I don't know, a month or whatever. And then he was hospitalized for like 2 weeks because his pancreas acted up so bad. It almost fucking killed him. And one of the things I saw online, because I read this and then I went into the comments section to see, what else people had to add. And one of the things I saw that was absolutely horrible, but it did make me laugh was, at the end of the day, think about it. Steve Jobs went full steam ahead with apples, only to be defeated by PC. But in this case, it was pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I actually think both Steve Jobs movies, though, I didn't watch either one because honestly, I don't really care. I don't need to watch another. I already saw The Social Network. When you've seen one movie about a CEO, you've seen them all. They're all pieces of shit. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty much the gist of each movie. I mean, Mark
Right.
Zuckerberg, a giant piece of shit. That's the gist of A Social Network. I believe the Steve Jobs I think the one with Ashton Kutcher, I didn't think showed him as much of an asshole as the one with so Michael Fassbender. He
Yeah.
also played Steve Jobs, and I think that one was more of he's not that good of a person. And so it seems like there's a growing trend here. Like when they do the biopic of Bill Gates, are they going to paint him to be this really nice loser too? Or are they going to be like, this guy is kind of a piece of shit? Are we going to show the whole affair that he has with his best friend? I mean, you have to have a pair of balls to marry someone and say, listen, I'm going to go on an educational, rendezvous kind of weekend with my previous girlfriend. We're going to read a book to each other. How normal is that? And why is that going to be painted as normal? That's kind of shitty. How about you just don't marry that person and then marry that person instead? It doesn't make any sense. Or just have a three-way relationship and like all live with each other and figure out a way to make that work. I feel like that's more reasonable than having a once a year getaway.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. The thruple, open gates.
Right. I mean, all these, honestly, if you're, this is what should happen. If you are a CEO and you're making $100 million a year and like you're part of like this elitist crew, maybe the best thing to do is become a Mormon, have 5 wives or 5 husbands, and maybe that's the solution.
I think personally that polygamy ought to be legal if that's what you and a couple other consenting adults want to do. And I don't think there should just be a religious loophole that allows you to get an exemption. I think you ought to just be able to do that if that's what you really want to do. But
I mean, all these other things are legal. So honestly, polygamy doesn't even sound that far off of odd anymore.
It's not. I mean, like, people have had unconventional relationships for years and it's just, it's all kind of been in the dark or whatever. But like, yeah, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, having 2 wives or, having 2 husbands or anything like that, like, I mean, like there's no reason why that should be stigmatized to the point where it's not legal. You want to have an opinion on it, whatever, it's fine. I mean, like, it doesn't affect you. So you're kind of a jerk if you do. But regardless, if it doesn't affect you and like it doesn't affect your family, why should it be illegal? I don't know.
I mean, maybe having 2 wives or 2 husbands or, a husband, a wife, and another wife or whatever, maybe that would help people from doing other stuff that is a little bit more frowned upon and like really frowned upon.
Yeah.
It might just be what, to me, it doesn't say, it just means that you're gonna have to rewrite all the law of divorce. Because think about it, if you're able to marry 2 people, right? Let's just say there is an actual 3-way relationship, and it doesn't matter the sex. It's either 3 men, 3 women, 2 women, 1 man, 1 man, 2 women. Now, that's pretty cool. But that means they would have to rewrite the law of divorce, because that changes the entire game. Like, what if you want to separate from one of the 3, but the other 2 want to stay together? How does that work?
There you go.
The reason they don't want to do it probably is because it's just complicated, and it means they have to people actually have to get to work and write case law and create case law and create new laws that actually matter.
There you go. Imagine a divorce attorney that charges by the spouse. That'd be very interesting. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that as like a USA sitcom, like coming to USA this summer. Like, he is the force in divorce, and it's like Zac Efron or something, but he's like trying to get like that serious role, but like he's trying to get like that dark comedy role that's like almost kind of serious. Yeah, he's like a divorce attorney, and the first episodes, the guy comes in and he's like, okay, like I got 6 wives and like all of them hate me.
Yeah, right. And it's just like they, one wants this, the other one wants that, the other one's saying I need to buy another one because they both want the same thing.
That I think would be groundbreaking television. I would watch the hell out of that show.
Yeah, actually, we should, dude, that could be the show.
That.
Polygamy.
Yes.
And I know the actor to get.
No,
Actors.
you call it polygamy.
I love it. I love it. David Duchovny and Charlie Sheen are brothers, and they both have 6 wives each.
Charlie Sheen's got a shelf life, I think, at this point.
Yeah, he'll die like midway through like fucking season 2, right?
I don't think he's in.
And of course, none of the actresses want to touch him because they're afraid they'll get something.
Yeah, don't stand so close to me in this scene, Charlie, please.
So what are the rules again? 6 feet away, right? Yeah, Charlie Sheen needs to follow COVID-19 rules, except it's hepatitis B rules.
Yeah, he needs to follow hepatitis E rules.
Yeah, right. So actually, that would be a great show. It's two brothers who found like this loophole in the legal system to have 6 wives.
Yeah,
That's not becoming a Mormon. So they're not in the state of Utah because that'd be a boring state to film in.
Oh God, yeah. Just imagine like that. You just do like every episode. You have like a pan shot like across like the absolutely like featureless terrain that is Utah, and then it's like people keep like writing in like, can we please not do that part? Like I hate the establishing shots in this show. They put me to sleep.
I would think it'd have to be like Miami. You get like that little Miami Vice feel.
But you gotta call it like polylegal or something. Like instead of paralegal, like polylegal. And then maybe you get like Elizabeth Moss to be like a lawyer who's like, not as well established as like everybody else in the firm. And then there's like a story arc too of like her getting to the top of this because like she doesn't agree with the whole industry. She thinks that it's all just there to like kind of exploit people. Then you kind of watch her develop as a character too. Like she starts to get more ingrained and like more entrenched in the industry, and she starts to realize, how things are with it. I think this is an idea.
I do think I think that is a fun show idea. Maybe going into like a place like Miami's not a good idea. You got to go to like some like southern state or something like that where they're very religious. But I think that's what that show Big Love is all about. Like, because he has he's a polygamist, and
he's
has
in
like,
Utah though. I thought.
I think he's in Utah too. Yeah, but
Mormon.
I guess people are still kind of against that there.
I suppose. Yeah, Utah is kind of at the end of the day, it is sort of Bible Belt area. Still, it's kind of crazy when you think about like the Midwestern United States and how much like religious kind of like fundamentalism still kind of exists there. I mean, it's a little nutty to think that like there's parts of the country like that. But I don't know. Maybe some people think that like that's good. Maybe some people think that that's like a bastion of sanity in this country. I wouldn't want to be one of those people, but I guess I can understand if you're entrenched in your views. It is what it is. Is Mormonism canceled?
Yeah, I wonder what the divorce rate is in Mormonism and how difficult is it if one wife doesn't want to be there anymore? Like, is it an easy separation, and does she marry just the man, or is she married to the other 4 women? I would have to think it's pretty complicated, and that's why they don't allow it in other states.
Polygamous divorce is normal if you consider hurt feeling, conflict, difficulties co-parenting, children acting out, blah, blah, blah. I worked with a polygamous family going through a divorce. The experience of the family was similar to the divorce of a traditional first marriage, but multi-layered, like the breakup of 2 individuals who had married and brought with them children from previous relationships. Multiple combinations of relationships needed to be addressed, including the husband/wife, the wife/wife, parent/child, and sibling/sibling relationships. I don't care about the dynamics. I don't give a fuck. Like the divorce of a standard couple, this family's divorce was an amoeba dividing. One entity was becoming 2. That's a really weird. That's a really weird metaphor. I don't know why. Okay.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's also crazy. Think about if you have 1 or 2 kids with your first marriage of 6, and then you're going into a family that also had a same situation, but the one that left didn't have kids, and then you're remarrying into another household that has another like 4 or 5 kids. Are you just a parent now to 9 children or more? 10,
yeah, I mean,
11, 12?
Jesus Christ, that's like you get like timeshares with your kids. Like, all right, so I'm gonna see him every 3rd weekend of the month. The first wife and her new husband are gonna see him every 2nd weekend of the month. Yeah, the first wife gets him, I guess, normally. I don't know how that sounds really fucking. That's not something, man. I tell you what, that's not something I'd ever want to be involved in as a divorce attorney.
Maybe that's why the other states don't allow it. They're just like, this is too over our head. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with this.
It's like in A Beautiful Mind, like the divorce attorney is just sitting there and the calculations are just swirling around his head. He's just like, wow, this sucks.
I just don't think it's too far off for some couples to have that conversation of having multiple partners. And then maybe having multiple partners will allow things to be okay. I just look at this whole Bill Gates, Melinda Gates kind of thing where it's, would their marriage have been a little bit more successful? I mean, maybe all Melinda wanted was to be a cuck queen and join Bill on their adventure. Maybe that's all she wanted. She wanted to be asked, but Bill maybe was afraid to ask. That's like a little, I'm lucky enough to be able to go on this getaway. God forbid I ask her. But maybe she just wanted to be, they switch off every chapter. She wanted to read chapter 3.
Maybe.
And she was never asked.
I have a couple things. So first is it still called cuckolding if the woman is the one being cuckolded?
Yeah, no, it's called a cuck queen. You got a cuckold and a cuck queen.
That's fantastic. But yeah, man, I know people who are in polygamous relationships, and like, hey, it's one of those things. Like, if it works for you, great. Like, I personally could never do that, but like, I don't fault anybody who can. And it's not even because I'm like a jealous person. I have like a certain, like, maybe there's like a threshold of jealousy, and like that, I don't know. Because normally I'm not very jealous. Like, I'm the type of guy, like, if my girlfriend wants to flirt with another guy to try and like get me going, and it's like, okay.
You and I are regular people, so we're not the elitist of the world who have millions of dollars who can do anything that they want the next day. Like we can't just say, hey, we're going to go take a private jet to Las Vegas and gamble $1 million. Like, we don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But I guess when you have that kind of money, you pay to do more and more, and you get bored easier. Think about it. If every Saturday you were going on a flight to Vegas in your private jet, and it must get boring after some time. I mean, we don't know what that feeling's like. So we're all held to like this standard of having just a solo relationship where, like, we'll use Bill Clinton and the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. Like, maybe Bill just had to communicate with Hillary, like, listen, here's an intern. She's of age.
Yeah,
can we add her into this? And honestly, Hillary looks like the type. I mean, listen, she's done a lot worse things. Just having a three-way relationship. I mean, she's killed people. So, a threesome is all not that bad when it comes to, like, making those kinds of decisions. Maybe that would have been okay. She just needed to be asked. And of course, the regular people like us, maybe it's frowned upon, but me, that's not that bad. I mean, if people want to do it, why should we judge someone for having a three-way relationship? Whether it be 2 women and a guy, or, again, I need to just clarify that. It's not just a man and 2 women. It could be a girl and 2 men, or 3 women or 3 men. I'm not trying to be at all stereotypical with that and just say a man and 2 women. So it's everyone, just a trio, no matter what the sex is. I
know a couple people who are actually in the dynamic of 1 girl, 2 guys. I'm very much like a live and let live type person. So I mean, like, if that floats your boat, then by all means. But like, I personally, I don't understand it myself. But hey, I don't have to understand it for you to do it. You know what I mean? Like that.
That goes all the way back to us when we were talking about Oliver Stone. That movie Savages. Personally, did not like the whole happy ending. Like, I think that's why I say Oliver Stoned it. He kind of botches endings sometimes. Mm-hmm. But in that movie, it's a relationship with Blake Lively and 2 other guys. The 2 guys just love each other, like, on a very best friend level. Mm-hmm. And they both love the same girl, and she loves them both. So they have a throuple type relationship. Obviously, now they're also involved in drugs and all that stuff. But the drugs aside, they have a throuple type relationship where it's just the 3 of them. They all love each other.
It's a throuple.
Throuple. I mean, I still think since it's relatively like a new thing, we can come up with many different things.
Yeah.
Trouble. It's like a Paul Giamatti movie. Maybe that type of relationship with people who are of that higher tier just need to have those, and we shouldn't frown upon it. Perhaps having multiple partners that are of age would stop them from doing other things that they're not supposed to do. Hint, hint, fucking kids. But I guess Mormonism may get canceled at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure just the idea of it,
Or religion is.
the idea of it being like a strict sort of theocratic sort of community there, I think eventually it gets canceled if it's not already pending cancellation. I mean, who knows?
I mean, I'm sure there'd be a lot of problems solved just by letting priests get married.
Oh my God.
Not even being like a polygamous set. Just allow them to marry someone.
Yep.
And I'm sure we would solve the same problem Catholic Church went through by letting priests marry one woman or man. I mean, I guess that would really be a conflict of interest, but just let them marry. Like, guys,
that's the kind of thing you got to take that a step at a time. Just women first. And then let that, see how that goes for a few years and let that kind of boil over. And then maybe, I mean, in terms of rebranding, man, the Catholic Church got to do something because they look terrible right now. And nobody in the Catholic Church is really moving to make any of the major changes that society obviously wants to see from them. How long is it going to take you? Good Lord. Yeah. I mean, priests getting married should already be a thing. It's inhumane to subject somebody to a job and then say, oh, you can't get married ever. That's terrible. And I get it. These people sign up for this, but you can't expect a person to not be a biological human being. I mean, for Christ's sake, that's why a lot of priests, one of the biggest problems with priests is that a lot of them are alcoholics.
A very good solution to something that I really don't want to go into detail about just because it's we're not going to go there with our show and whatnot, but you allow priests to get married and you allow some of these higher elitist people, let them have relationships with as many people that's in their age group as possible. And I think that could slowly solve some problems.
Yeah.
That's just an idea. I think polygamy is something that should just be a little bit more not so frowned upon, I guess.
Sure.
I'm tired of reading articles about celebrities getting divorced. I really don't care. And it's just, if they can't survive a marriage, how are you supposed to survive a marriage? We're different people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. First off, I am in a completely different tax bracket, and therefore my life is entirely different. So to try and make any comparison, to say that we have something in common because we got married, and it's okay, I have in common with Robert De Niro the fact that I have a beating heart. Does that mean we're at all similar? Jesus Christ.
If we want to do a test, someone give me $1 billion and I shit you not, I will be with the same person for the rest of my life until I die with never having a single problem.
Yeah.
And you know what? Listen, I'll make it a reality TV show. Give me $1 billion and I promise.
Coming to Bravo this summer, Rich Chris.
You thinks he has 4 dogs. He just got another 4, 8 dogs, 3 women.
Whenever you get into a fight, it's Chris is in the doghouse.
You just see me I'm the third one that gets dinner. Yeah, I'm allowed to do what I want, but whenever I do something really wrong, I need to put on a dog collar and go into the basement. And it only lasts one season. It only lasts one season. You know why? Because I was given that $1 billion and I made it work. Everyone who watched it wanted to see it fail. They were hoping to get some Kardashian bullshit garbage, but no, they just got a regular life.
Maybe that's what America needs, is a wholesome reality TV show where everybody learns a lesson at the end of every episode. And maybe it's like a sitcom, but with real people.
Isn't that what Intervention and Hoarders kind of about?
I don't think Intervention always has a happy ending, but I remember I made the joke a while back, way back when I did stand up way back when. We're probably going to edit this out of the show, but I remember I made the joke and I was like, yeah, if you watch an episode of Intervention in reverse, it's about a person whose smothering family drives them into the embrace of drugs.
It's actually funny.
That was pretty good.
So listen, everyone, I am going to cut us off because we are rounding close to an hour or we're over it already. I don't know, but we do have a special treat for you. Tom and I created a game called Canceled, Pending Cancellation, and Revamped. This game, to give you an example, we are going to say Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is obviously canceled. And then we could say something like Twinkies. Twinkies were revamped. They were taken off the shelves at one point. They were technically canceled, and they were revamped and back on the shelf. So what Tom and I are going to do is go through with each other, and whoever wins will not have to do.
Might not all make the cut. Keep in mind.
What do you mean they might not all make the cut?
Some of them might get edited out.
Oh no, they're not going to get edited out. This is what it is.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So if I get them wrong or you get them wrong, it is what it is. And then one of us is a loser. So we're going to have to do something if we lose. And I'm thinking the loser is going to have to record the first sponsorship video of the new revamped Chris and Tom show.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Raytheon. Raytheon, the missile defense company.
Oh, canceled.
Actually, they are revamped. They just came out with their new logo as a pride logo, which is very, very nice for, a missile company to make a pride logo. So that was they're actually revamped now.
That's good. That's good. Wonderful.
Drake Bell. Remember Drake Bell from Drake and Josh? Canceled. Indeed. He was arrested in Mexico after he went there to become a Spanish pop singer, and he changed his name. And it turns out he was charged with endangering a minor. Okay, BMW. Revamped, correct. The state of Georgia.
Revamped.
No, canceled. They just pushed some very draconian legislature from up, including some pro-life agenda.
Wouldn't you say they're pending cancellation then? They're not necessarily canceled yet. Or are they?
Okay, all right. They're pending cancellation. They're on thin ice. They better clean their act up. Demi Lovato.
Pending cancellation?
Indeed. She's another one. She's on thin ice. She's on thin ice with the LGBTQ community. Elon Musk.
Pending cancellation?
Elon Musk is actually revamped, being that, he now took this very environmentally friendly stance on Bitcoin. It's got a lot of people in his favor, actually. But, obviously,
we'll see.
People like you and I can see through that, because I think he's just trying to buy Bitcoin at a discount. And that moves on to Bitcoin.
Revamped.
Bitcoin is indeed revamped. It's starting to go up again, so that's good. John Lennon. Lennon's canceled. He was a spousal abuser. AMC. Revamped. Indeed. Stock's going way up. United Airlines.
Revamped?
They're revamped because they're bringing back supersonic air travel, which is funny because people are like, oh, man, they're going into the future. Like, no. The Concorde jet was flying around for decades, literally decades, and that was supersonic. And then it crashed like twice. And they took them all out of service. And now United Airlines is bringing out a supersonic plane, and acts like they're doing the most revolutionary thing in the world. It's like, no, this is like a 40-year-old technology, and you're bringing it back. Like, it might even be older than that. Kevin Sorbo. Canceled. Very conservative, turns out. Robinhood.
The stock site, I'm going to say revamped.
It is pending cancellation right now. People are very angry because they were doing the same thing with AMC stock that they were doing with GameStop stock, where they're making it very hard to buy, very hard to sell. So they're limiting the amount of trading you can do with those stocks, and it has got people very angry.
It's still in the news, though, and if it wasn't for the AMC and the GameStop bullshit from the beginning, I don't think I ever would have created one. So it kind of worked out in their favor.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Richard Simmons.
Revamped.
Richard Simmons is revamped, but not in a good way. He is apparently missing, and nobody seems to know what happened to him. Like they hired a home health aide to go check on him, and like I guess the staff at his house was like, he's fine. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. So like very, very strange things going on with Richard Simmons. So Richard Simmons is temporarily revamped.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Hopefully they find him.
Here's one. Chris Pratt.
Pending cancellation.
He turned out to be, and Demi Lovato called him out on this, a member of the Hillsong Church in California, which is apparently notoriously anti-homosexuality, and they're a little bit of a fundamentalist church. And Chris Pratt, who is very vocally a Christian, he was already on thin ice, and then now with this, he's on real thin ice. Oreo.
It's a good one. I'm assuming revamped, but it's probably pending cancellation.
Well, Oreo's revamped.
Okay.
They're posting on Twitter that they're thinking about a donut Oreo. Now, whether or not that was a joke.
Okay. I'll take that as a pending. I'll take it as a wrong, and I went pending cancellation because I was hoping we'd say like, oh, they're really not good for you. They found out.
Oh yeah, no. Nigeria.
Revamped.
Nigeria is actually pending cancellation. They blocked Twitter on all of their, like, the whole government blocked Twitter. And so now people are using VPNs to post from places like, I don't know, England and America and shit like that on the internet, and talk about how bad Nigeria's policies are for the country and for the freedom of speech in the country. So that's not a good thing. Oh, here's one. Ska, like the music.
Canceled?
Actually, ska was canceled, but now it is revamped. And the reason is because it was looked at as a predominantly, ska was almost canceled because ska band Mighty Mighty Boss Tones came out with a song about George Floyd, and it was looked at as very tone deaf. And so it was pending cancellation because it was looked at as like one of the whiter music scenes that didn't have a whole lot of flavor going on. But people are actually starting to discover that the roots of ska were in Jamaica and moved to Britain with, I think it was called a two-tone movement. So people are actually discovering that the roots of ska are a lot more varied than maybe the ska to which we were all exposed in the 90s at like the Tony Hawk soundtrack and shit. Here's my last one. Ray J.
I'm assuming canceled.
Ray J is actually revamped. It turns out that he might have been, well, he might be pending cancellation. I don't know. But it turns out he was actually involved in the shooting of Biggie and Tupac. He was the one who told Biggie that Faith Evans was fucking around with Tupac. So he's like Forrest Gump, man. He's behind the scenes this whole time. Every single thing that's happened, like the Kardashians, fucking like Ray J is like the orchestrator of our popular culture. And
so I would think pending cancellation. That was close. I thought he was canceled since the video, but
no, that video did wonders to his popularity.
All right, so I guess I will go.
Yes, go ahead.
Chris D'Elia.
Chris D'Elia is canceled.
Yes, grooming problems. LeBron James and the Lakers 2001 championship hopes.
Canceled.
Yeah, goodbye, LeBraby.
he's
very happy about that.
Fighting off the Goon Squad now, the monsters. He's playing. He's in Space Jam.
Yeah, I have no interest in watching that one. All right, Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos are back, I believe. Somebody say revamped.
Yes, sir. They are back. Old Spice.
Old Spice, I'm going to say, is revamped.
You are right.
Very nice.
And they have like the best marketing campaign now. That was the best thing that they've ever done.
You want to know who actually was in charge of that marketing campaign? Like the very first commercials with Terry Crews when they were all like super bizarre and like everything was moving really fast. Tim and Eric.
No kidding. Hopefully they got paid a lot of money for that, because that campaign is what made them come back again. It literally went from like old man little cologne to people like us buying it.
Yeah.
All right. Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres is canceled.
Ooh, she's pending cancellation because she has one more season and then she's getting canceled.
It's good to know that it finally came to light what a shitty person she is. It's always those kind of things never make you happy, but it always makes you feel satisfied knowing that like there was something shitty going on and like now that person is being brought to task.
That's right.
Satisfactory.
Joss Whedon.
Oh, Joss Whedon is canceled.
And he is. He's just another piece of shit.
There was a rule when they were filming Buffy the Vampire Slayer that he couldn't be alone in a room with what's her face, Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah. Barbecue Fritos.
Revamped,
canceled. I had no idea those were taken off the shelves too. So you can't get barbecue Fritos anymore.
What's next? Cool Ranch Doritos. Like, when does this madness end?
Banana Nut Cheerios.
Canceled.
Yep. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow's pending cancellation.
No, Tim Tebow is revamped. He was signed by the Jaguars, and he is now playing, I think he's either a tight end or a running back, but he most likely will be starting. They signed him on for a year. So I have to say, good for him. Not so great quarterback. However, he wanted to come back. He has no issues, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to win a Super Bowl this year. So if you're not going to win a Super Bowl, what is secondary to that?
Making it to the playoffs? Selling
jerseys and selling out every single game.
Tebow's a likable guy.
I'll tell you what, people are going to want to see him either play awesome or they're going to want to see him play terrible. If he plays average, it kind of doesn't really make sense. But if he plays terrible, it gives people something to talk about and watch. And if he plays great, it's like, well, the guy deserved the chance. So ultimately, it was definitely a great move by the Jaguars, in my opinion. Kathy Griffin.
Ooh, Kathy Griffin. That's a tough one. I'm going to say canceled.
Yeah, she's canceled. Cinnamon Tic Tacs.
Oh, goddamn. I haven't thought about those in a while. They're canceled.
They're canceled. Polaroid.
Polaroid's canceled.
They're revamped. So they have been trying to come out with new cameras from time to time. And remember, my big Labor Day party last year, we did have the little Polaroid cameras to take pictures, and we were able to make that sign. So Polaroid's trying to come back into the game again.
That's nice.
Netflix's Jupiter's Legacy.
I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm going to say that's canceled.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, that was a new show that was trying, I think, compete with a couple of the other superhero shows, and it just sucked. So they killed
can't
it.
all be Zinger.
Surge Soda.
Surge Soda is revamped.
So they were canceled. They were revamped, and then they were canceled again. If you actually Google Surge Soda, you can get like a 12-pack for $500.
Surge was all right.
Yep.
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it wasn't like my go-to or anything, but it was okay. I guess that's not enough.
The Oscars.
The Oscars are pending cancellation, man.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And hopefully they will. So I actually think we were relatively close. I guess we could tally these up, but ultimately I would say we tied.
Just about.
And we should do our video together.
I agree. I think that'd be a good idea.
So we're going to record something either together or separately, but we're both going to be punished to do a video soon. So that'll be great. Anywho, what has been canceled again is our show Timeout. Unfortunately,
it has, but it's also been revamped.
However, and we now go by
Chris and Tom Show, available on YouTube. So if Spotify or Apple Podcast is not your thing, you can check us out on YouTube.
That's right, everyone. So we're on YouTube now, and we also have a Twitter. You can follow us at
the Chris Tom Show. That's SHO1.
Why?
I mean, I didn't pick it. You know, nowadays, Twitter decides your handle.
Seriously, you can't make your own.
Can't make your own at
thing anymore.
Yeah, nope, that's how it is.
So they replaced W with 1, thinking that was
There's
going
probably a
to...
Chris and Tom Show already, so they probably just put the 1. Maybe that's the next thing we'll have to revamp. It's like, all right, I changed my name to
that really
Boris.
Sucks.
Now we're the Chris and Boris Show.
I hope Twitter has the same outcome as MySpace.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I wonder if this whole thing with Nigeria isn't just Twitter's way of staying relevant. Like, ooh, look, they're trying to shut down free speech, and Twitter is a bastion of free speech. Like, no, Twitter is a place for controversial and vociferous opinions. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a bastion of free speech, but you know, maybe to some people in some parts of the world it is. So who knows?
Guess it is what it is, and that'll be a discussion for another show.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's been fun. I think this was a little bit more of a raunchy episode, but everyone, this is just about as dirty as we'll get.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a little 3-way and some cuck queening.
Yeah.
That is a new word. I did look that up before. Like, is a cuck queen actually a thing? Well, I looked up cuckolding to make sure I understood what that actually meant. And then I'm like, ooh, a cuck queen is this.
Cuck queen.
You know, the word cuckold, I actually thought was like a really bad word. But then there was that movie with Steve Carell where he was with Ryan Gosling, and it's just like, my wife cuckolded me. She cuckolded me. And it's like, oh, that's not a bad word. Okay. All right. It's in a PG-13 movie, so it's okay.
It actually comes from the French word for the cuckoo, which is known for its habit of laying eggs in the nests of other birds. Fun fact. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, everyone, you got a little 101 on.
Yeah,
cucking.
Right. You got to know the origin if you're going to get involved. I mean, you got to know where it started.
Well, everyone, listen, enjoy your Sunday. We have a great interview lined up next week with a friend of ours from high school, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Have a great weekend, everybody.